good morning. My name is Willie Lawson and of fightbackmedia.com. Fightbackmedia.com, and fightbackmediatv.com. Trust that you are well this fantastic, fantastic day. I wanted to hit on something that I thought was interesting and noteworthy. Um, Over the past couple of weeks, there have been a lot of stories in the news concerning people who are consider themselves transgender. Okay, people who are biologically one thing, who believe in their heart and mind and their soul that they are something else. Uh, they are biological men, people born as men, as born as males, who believe in their heart, mind, and soul that they are actually trapped. A female trapped in a male's body, and vice versa. Now, that in itself is a extremely small percentage of people, less than half of 1% of the nation. Um, and you would think, well, how can such a small percentage of people who actually identify as trans cause such a stir? 331 million people, a million people is about 0.4, 0.5% of the population. How can that many people cause that big a stir? Well, because it isn't about the people who are identifying as trans, and it's definitely not about the people who are suffering with gender dysphoria, and that's a real thing. Most people who are suffering with gender dysphoria know that they are not the opposite sex. They know that. They know that already, um, which is part of the problem. They know that already. That's the conflict. It's not that. It's transgenderism. It is the movement. It is the religion of transgenderism that is making the most noise. And are there people who are in the transgenderism movement who are of a good nature, who are just trying to, to be allies and and support people who are struggling? Yes, there are those people who are there, but that's not the people making the most noise. The people are making the most noise are the people who are using it as a political wedge. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. The folks who are using it as a political wedge, as a cultural wedge, because we have said this many times that politics are downstream of the culture. And if I can change the culture, then I can change the politics. And this is what this is about. We mentioned earlier in another video, we talked about why aren't women trying to quote break into as transgendered men into men's sports? Why isn't that? Why aren't women, biological women who identify as men, fighting men in MMA? Except you have this dude fighting women and literally cracking their damn skulls, literally cracking their skulls. How they are continuing to let this go on is beyond me. Beyond me. You have people like William Thomas competing against biological women, a fully intact male, intact. I mean, we talk about intact like we talk about dogs. The dog is intact. No, the bull is intact. That means that they still have their junk. Sorry if that's an offensive comment. I don't mean it to be offensive, but this is a subject area that you got to be kind of grown up for, right? So what you don't see is the opposite. Why the demeaning of women? Why the demeaning of women? Why? Why the demeaning of Title IX in college sports? Is there a larger agenda? Yes. Is it an evil agenda? I'm afraid so, folks. I'm afraid so. That's the only thing that we can come up with. If you can come up with something else that's going to make the society better, truly better for everyone, not just for the 0.5% of people who identify as transgender, not just for the loudmouths who are screaming and yelling at people, who are attacking them, or showing up in churches and killing them, or church schools and killing them. Not them, but for the people who are really struggling. Please write it down in the comments. I can't wait to hear. And as you know, if you check out any Fight Back Media stuff, we don't get into back and forth in the comments. So we're not going to battle with the keyboard warriors. It's not what we do. If you have a rational, reasonable thing to say, go ahead and say it. That's fine. That's absolutely okay. But it is the transgenderism religion that you can't speak against. You must not speak against. You must not draw cartoons that depict its leaders in any sort of way that is disrespectful to them. You must not talk about the transgenderism as disrespectfully. And who gets to decide what that is? It is the bishops and the priests of transgenderism that get to decide what is disrespectful. Yes. So we can't have this conversation, except we're going to, unless YouTube shuts us down, and they might. They very well might. But I think it's improper in the sense that so many people are actually struggling with gender dysphoria to not have this conversation out loud. There are those in the LGBT community that are speaking out against the transgender movement, not transgenders, people who are suffering with gender dysphoria. They're not speaking out against them. They're speaking out against their allies. For me, because I'm a sports dude, let me put it in this light. I don't have anything against the New York Yankees. Their fans suck. I don't have anything against the Boston Red Sox. Their fans suck. I don't have anything against the Dallas Cowboys, but their fans suck. You know what I'm saying? Philadelphia Eagles, no problem with the Eagles. Their fans, they bite. That's what we're talking about. I don't have anything against people who are struggling with gender dysphoria. That must be awful. To wake up every day, look in the mirror, see yourself, and not see yourself. That must be horrific. So I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the transgenderism movement. Its political arm, its militant arm. That they're not concerned with the person that I just spoke about. What do you think? Write it down in the comments. Can't wait to hear from you. My name is Willie Lawson of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTV.com. Until we see you again, go out there and learn to love somebody. And for goodness sake, y'all take care of yourself.